Devendra Kumar Tayal. It is matter of proud for me to introduce you all with the sir. Professor Devendra Kumar Tayal has done MTech and PhD from Jawaharlal University, Delhi. He joined IGDTUW in 2007 as reader and worked as head of department from 2007 to 2013. He is working as professor in Department of CSE since 2013. He has worked as various administrative positions like Chief Proctor, Dean, HOD, and Chairman of various committees. He has teaching experience of more than 18 years. Sir did his research in the field of fuzzy database management system, has published more than 100 research papers with most of them in international journals published by reputed publishers like ECM Transaction, Elsewhere, John Willis, Springer, Word Scientific, etc. He was earlier selected as research engineer in CDOT and also as class 1 gazetted officer by UPSC. He is member of International Advisory Board for various international journals. Besides this, he is referee on the editorial board of various international journals, including IEEE transactions on fuzzy system having SCI impact factor of 4.26. Professor Tayal has worked on many sponsored research projects, paid consultancy project companies, especially in the area of natural language processing, and is also presently working on many research projects. He is also a member of PAMC and Mission ICPS of the Department of Science and Technology. He has been conferred with 3 research awards in 2020 for distinguished publications. I again welcome you, sir, and I request you to start the session.
Oh, thank you so much, madam, for introducing me. I feel obliged. Am I audible?
Yes,
Ma'am,
sir,
very
you are.
much. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir, you are audible.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So, first of all, I would like to thank Government Engineering College Bikaner for holding this wonderful FDP, and secondly for providing me this opportunity to discuss my ideas and my research with the esteemed and distinguished audience of this FDP. Right. So the topic which I have chosen today is natural language processing and research applications. And the basic idea for choosing this topic for discussion in the FDP is because I feel whenever the faculty members join these type of FDPs, so definitely their objective in their mind somewhere is there that they should learn what is happening, especially in the field of research. What are the new research problems which are available in this field? How this field is beneficial as far as the society is concerned? What are the applications which can be done? And most of all, what are the open research problems available in this field, right? So therefore, I have chosen this topic so that I may be able to justify and discuss with you that what are the all these contents there. So I have aligned my contents in this manner. First of all, I would like to introduce what is natural language processing. So I will give a brief introduction and basically what are the different applications of natural language processing. Then I will discuss about the current natural language processing systems. What are the current natural language processing systems available? I will try to give brief overview of these systems, especially the most famous natural language processing system which we daily encounter and which we daily use is Google. Right? Google is the most popular search engine which we use for finding our queries, and that is all based on natural language processing which is done. So I will discuss about Google also, how it is performing, right? And otherwise, besides Google, some of the most prominent and well-established research labs and the research universities in the world, what type of systems they are developing. And after discussing those systems, I will focus on what are the challenges available in the NLP and what are the gaps still available. And after going through these systems, you will be able to understand that how and what is the performance of these systems as far as the current systems is concerned, and you will yourself realize that how much satisfactory these systems are, and therefore you can easily identify, you will be able to identify the gaps which is there in the current system. And then in this presentation, in this session, I will discuss on 3 research problems and their solutions. And because actually my work is more towards Hindi language, so I will be using my communication in English as well as Hindi language, right? And I hope all of the participants understand Hindi language. Even if some of you do not understand Hindi language, I will try to make it simple for you. And I'm sure that you will understand what I'm going to convey and I'm going to discuss. So first problem will be about the ambiguity resolution for optimized NLP. I will discuss these problems in detail. And then because this is about research application, so what I will do, I will first of all frame the problem for you. I will discuss what is the problem, and then I will discuss how we have provided the solutions for this problem. So all of these problems are solved by me and my co-authors, and then these problems are already published in good journals, and I'll let you know about this, and they are already available in the Google, right? So if you want to go into more details, you can go definitely. So first problem is about ambiguity resolution. I will discuss about that, and the another problem is about the error detection and correction for Hindi language. Right, as I already told you, I am working on Hindi language because in our country, you must have noticed that although we have the second most populous country in the world, still hardly you will find any website of Government of India which is available purely in Hindi, which is very much embarrassing, right? So why we are not able to run even our websites in Hindi language, which is our national language, which is our mother tongue, right? Because you will come to know what are the problems which are there and why the people are not able to work, and therefore there is a lot of scope available for pursuing the research in Hindi language and other native languages also. So that is about error detection and correction for Hindi language. Right, and then another problem which I'll start with is for the Hindi one, right? So that is basically a lexical corpus which is created by me and my co-authors. So I will discuss how this corpus is better than all the available corpus and how we have proposed the idea and how we are able to do it. And then after discussing these problems, in the last I will discuss which will be the most beneficial and most charming for the participants is future work, right? So in future work, I will also give you some guidelines which you can say are like the open problems which are still not solved in the field of NLP, and anybody of you can pursue research in these problems. Maybe you are most welcome. You can join me as my collaborator. You can pursue with me, or if independently you would like to pursue, then you can definitely pursue yourself. And then at the conclusion, I will give you the references from where I have prepared these slides, and many of which are my own papers. And then we will discuss some questions if you have there. So, so let me start with my presentation. So first of all, we will discuss what is natural language processing. So I think most of you understand what is natural language processing, right? So it is concerned with the development of computational models of the aspects of human language processing, which includes both natural language understanding and natural language generation, right? So here I will give a pause. See, there are two things. First is natural language understanding, and second thing is natural language generation. Right? If we talk about natural language understanding only, so understanding natural language is also not easy, right? So you will come to know when I'll go through my next slides that how difficult it is even to understand the natural language, right? And then generation is far more difficult, that generating a natural language text on the basis of some answer which you are providing. Okay, so natural language processing, natural language processing includes both natural language understanding and natural language generation. So first of all, you have to understand what is there written in that some natural language, right? For example, suppose there is an English newspaper. Now, suppose you want to make a software which can understand what is there in the news item which is published in the newspaper. I'll discuss all this. Right, and as far as natural language understanding is concerned, it includes interpretation only. Right. One more thing I'd like to tell you: when I was a researcher, I was doing my PhD late in 1990s. This natural language, the field of natural language processing was almost a dead field. Right, rarely and hardly you will find any fellow who would like to pursue a research in natural language processing. I'm talking about in 1990s, late 1990s. But now, after the advent of the internet and the social media and the Twitter and all other platforms, you can see there is a huge boom, right, in the research community on natural language processing, because when you see the interview of a Google CEO or Microsoft CEO, they always talk about natural language processing applications, right? And they keep on improving it. And some of the products like Siri and Alexa, they are influencing our daily lives also, right? It is available. Alexa is available for hardly 2,000 rupees, right? And they can understand some of your conversations, some of your commands, and so on. So they are trying to influence our daily life at a very cheap price, 2,000 rupees, right? So definitely there is a more concern and there is a more interest growing towards natural language processing nowadays. And you can see definitely there is, you can call it also as a paradigm shift. So earlier when I was talking about my research days, nobody was interested in natural language processing because the internet was not easily accessible those days. And now when today when internet is so much accessible to everybody, even the kids, and because of the social networking platforms, everybody is using Facebook, Twitter, etc. So there is definitely a boom. So the question comes, which is very basic question, is why natural language processing, right? As I have already discussed a little bit of you about that, internet is having so many pages. So and applications of natural language processing are manifold. Okay, I have just written here or mentioned here some of the applications of natural language processing, right? Which includes, first of all, you can say classification of text into categories. For example, suppose you have a news item available in the news, right? You have many news aggregators, like you have many softwares which are news aggregators. So suppose you the software reads some news, and it has to automatically classify whether this news belongs to finance, whether this news belongs to sports, whether this news belongs to film industry or something like that. So automatically classifying that text into categories. Okay, automatic translation, right? Automatic translation is one of the area which is still unexplored. I will show you about automatic translation of the Google, right? How Google does automatic translation, right? And then you will come to know that what is happening actually. Speech understanding, then information extraction. You are using Google for information extraction or information retrieval. Automatic summarization, right? Like we have the task. Even some of the judgments like Ayodhya judgment, right? Ayodhya judgment was Ram Mandir judgment was about 1200 pages, right? So if you talk about 1200 pages, so 1200 pages means at least 4 to 5 books, right? So even if the people like you and me and even an advocate wants to read the judgment, so for reading the judgment, he has to spend so much of time that he has to spend for 4 or 5 books, right? So it is not easy for everybody, right? So obviously a person would like to know about a summary of that judgment, right? If the summary of the judgment is available to me, let's say in 10 pages, 20 pages or 50 pages, then that is more convenient for me. So definitely there is a need to develop such softwares which can automatically summarize a document, right, in the form. So as I was discussing, I am working on a consultancy project with Aditya Birla where we are summarizing their meetings, right, their decisions of Aditya Birla Group, right. So that is about my consultancy project. So if the time will permit, I will discuss a little bit about that also. Then natural knowledge acquisition, text generation, dialogue generation, and so on. This is just only some of the part of natural language processing applications which are there. I will discuss more about that. Okay. So this is only about NLP. Now I'd like to discuss where NLP stands, right? Right. So as far as you can see, this Venn diagram itself is a clear. NLP is a field of computer science and computational linguistics, and plus it is driven by advances in machine learning, because when you are developing a natural language processing system, that means you are trying to generate a machine which can learn and which can produce some inference for you. And definitely these part comes under AI, and it is therefore an integral part of AI. Right. So I will discuss some other NLP applications like machine translation that I'll discuss in the forthcoming slides. Okay, information retrieval, which you are daily doing from Google, Yahoo, Bing, and many other search engines. Even we are using meta search engines for information retrieval. Then natural languages assistants, you already know. I have discussed about Siri, Apple Siri, and then Alexa, and so on. Google assistants are there. Question answering systems are there. Sentiment analysis, I'll discuss about question answering system also in the forthcoming slides. Sentiment analysis, I think most of you must be knowing about sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is gaining popularity nowadays, right? So understanding the sentiment of the people are very much important, especially in a country where we have so much of highly populated country, right? 130 crore people or so, because sentiment drives even the formation of the government, right? So sentiment analysis is another field, and this also becomes very much important whenever elections are approaching. So whenever elections are approaching, all the parties are trying to understand what is the sentiment of the people, right? And accordingly, they will try to. Emergency, somebody has opened his mic. So can I request to please switch off your mic, please? Yeah, thank you. Okay. So that is sentiment analysis, which is also known as opinion mining, right? Like you know, Amazon, Flipkart, all the big e-giants, they are definitely interested in understanding the sentiment of their customers, right? What they are thinking about our product, whether they are satisfied by our product, different types of rating, the star rating, etc. So this is all comes under sentiment analysis. Then spelling error in correction and detection and word prediction. This important area. I will discuss one problem from this area where some text is given to you and this text contains some spelling errors, right? And we are trying to generate some software which can automatically find those spelling errors and not only detect those spelling errors, they are also able to correct those spelling errors. That is also more important, right? So this type of software is very much useful, right? And then robotics, you know, I will discuss a little bit about robotics also. Then classification of text and spam filtering, you must have gone through spam filtering also. Speech processing and speech synthesis, because speech is also there in the natural language. So, but I will not discuss the speech part. In the today's presentation, I will focus and I will confine only to the textual part. Okay. So now I'll briefly give an overview of the current natural language processing systems which are available. Okay, I will start with the first with the Sophia, right? So I think all of you must be knowing about the Sophia. Sophia is the first humanoid robot who has been awarded the citizenship of Saudi Arabia, right? Right. That is why she was most popular, right? It is not the first case. She is not the first humanoid robot. Okay, even the humanoid robots were developed by Japan in 1970s, right? But the Sophia gained more popularity because she was awarded the citizenship of Saudi Arabia, right, in 2017, right? So definitely, when we are claiming it is a humanoid robot, so humanoid robot definitely has to rely on the natural language processing, because a humanoid robot has to talk to human beings. So whenever you are talking to human beings, definitely, so the robot has to apply the concept of natural language understanding as well as natural language generation, because whenever a humanoid robot is talking to another human being, so the robot has to understand what other human being is saying, okay? Because whenever it is conversing with the other human being, and definitely after understanding what the other human being is saying, she has to reply to her question or to her conversation, right? So I will just try to briefly give you an interview of Sophia by a journalist. So kindly go through this video, even if the voice is. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, you are
Yes, sir.
audible.
Audible, sir. Audible.
So was the video audio audible? ऑडियो की आवाज आ रही थी आपको?
No, no.
नहीं सर
No,
नहीं आई
sir.
आवाज नहीं आई
आवाज नहीं आई. Anyway, I think you
No,
must
sir.
have gone through the
Video audio is not audible, sir. But video was
Okay.
visible, but there was no voice, no audio.
No problem. Anyway, so no problem. So I think नीचे subtitles आ रहे थे, तो आप लोगों ने subtitles देखा होगा, right? So now I would
Yes.
like to discuss the conversation of the journalist with the this humanoid robot Sophia. ठीक है? So the question asked by the journalist is, have you met any journalist? And the answer given by Sophia is, I have just had a thought about something. Are you working on any product with machine learning or neural networks? Right? So you can understand the answer given by Sophia is not at all related with the question posed by journalist, right? Second thing is, when the journalist asks, why do you love human beings? Then the Sophia replies, I'm not sure I understand why yet. So I think you cannot understand the answer given by Sophia. Third thing is, when the question put by the journalist is, how do you learn things? And Sophia replies, what is your opinion about the Bitcoin bubble? Right. So I just want to tell you, I just want to just show you that this humanoid robot has been deployed, okay, and then she has been awarded the membership of Saudi Arabia, the citizenship of Saudi Arabia, but you can still feel the gaps which the natural languages processing system, which is inbuilt in the robot Sophia, is failing. Right? You can understand that Sophia is replying in a vague manner. So definitely there is a gap, or there is some deficiency in the natural language processing system on which the Sophia has been built. So this is just, I just wanted to focus you that that there are still some gaps in the natural language processing system. Now this was about Sophia. And now let's discuss about the Google Assistant, our famous system, right? So I have written some text on the Google Assistant, and you can see what type of replies the Google Assistant is giving, right? So suppose I'm asking you, I like desserts. So Google Assistant says, okay, can you help me please? Can you please help me nearby? And Google Assistant gives me the address of an ICICI ATM, right? ICICI I think किसी का mic is not on है. We may request. Yes. Okay. Right. So these type of answers are given by Google Assistant. Sorry. Okay. Now let's see the machine translation aspect of the Google, right? So Google over the years have transformed a big name into translation domain, and Google is a statistical machine translation system, and it is designed for 81 language pairs, and this keeps on increasing, right? Especially when Sundar Pichai has joined as CEO of Google, so he's focusing a lot of work on Indian languages, right? Prior to prior to Sundar Pichai being the Google CEO, there was a less work available on Indian languages. But after he has joined as a CEO of Google, so he has started focusing on Indian languages also, right? So presently, from the Indian subcontinent, the following languages are in the Google scope: Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Marathi, Nepali, Punjabi, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu. All the major languages are there. Right. So now let us look at the translation output of Google. Right. Now please carefully see how the Google translates from one language to other language. I have taken two translations. One is from English language to Hindi language, and another is from Hindi language to English language. Now let's see what happens. Okay. Suppose I have written on Google Translate that this conference is good for the people who want to pursue their research from scratch in uncertainty. Right. तो मैंने गूगल पे ये लिखा कि इसको एक सेंटेंस लिखा और मैंने गूगल से कहा कि इसको हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट करिए. ठीक है, तो देखिए गूगल क्या ट्रांसलेट करके दे रहा है. यह सम्मेलन उन लोगों के लिए अच्छा है जो अनिश्चितता में खरोंच से अपने शोध को आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं. राइट. So you can see that the meaning, the translation given by Google is not at all correct. Similarly, I have given a translation. I have given a sentence to Google. This institute's fan rotates silently. ठीक है, और गूगल ने ट्रांसलेट करके दिया, इस संस्थान के प्रशंसक चुपचाप घूमते हैं. Right. So see the translation given by Google. Right. So this is a translation only for one sentence, and you can understand if you hand over a paragraph or a book for Google to translate, what will happen. Okay. Now see the other part, the reverse part. Now I am giving a sentence in Hindi and I'm asking Google to translate it into English. इस कॉलेज के पंखे धीरे चलते हैं लेकिन सर्दी में तेज महसूस होते हैं. ठीक है, तो then the Google says the fans of this college go slow but feel warm in winter. Right. So Google is saying that fans are warmer in winter, which is totally absurd. Right. So this was about the translation of the Google. Now let us see automatic question answering system, which is called START, which is developed by Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and we all know that that is one of the topmost institutes in the world. So this is a question answering system developed by MIT. Now let us see the performance of this question answering system. So this has been nicknamed as START by the Natural Language Question Answering System by MIT. Now suppose I give an input to this question answering system. Show me the picture of tiger. Show me the picture of tiger, and then the system appropriately gives me the picture of tiger. Now suppose I reframe, which is also known as paraphrasing, and suppose I give another input to the system which says show me how tiger looks like. Then you can see when I've given this input, show me how tiger looks like, and the system says I do not know the answer. Right? Although show me how tiger looks like and show me the picture of tiger, they are synonymous sentences. These sentences are synonymous. They are conveying the same meaning, but the system is not able to process this. The sentence show me how tiger looks like. Similarly, I have given one question to the start. What is the Jupiter's atmosphere made of? And the system gives me the correct answer about the Jupiter's atmosphere, the configuration, the surface pressure itna hai, temperature itna hai, density itni, and so on. Now, suppose I again rephrase my question and I say, what is the Jupiter's environment made up of? And then the system says, unfortunately, I do not know the Jupiter's environment made up of. Now, see the difference. In the previous question, I have simply written what is the Jupiter's atmosphere made up of. And in the next question, I am writing what is the Jupiter's environment made up of. Now, Jupiter's environment and Jupiter's atmosphere, they are synonymous words. Okay, as far as planets are concerned, the environment of the planet or atmosphere of the planet, any heavenly body, can be used interchangeably as a synonyms. But you can see the performance of the system that it is not even performing an answer even on the synonyms. If you are using even the exact synonyms, it is not able to perform. Now let us try to see another performance of the Google, which is information retrieval. Suppose I want to retrieve some information from the Google and I say, what is the age of Narendra Modi? And the Google gives me the correct answer. The age of Narendra Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister, is 67 years. Now, suppose I rephrase my question, for how many years has Narendra Modi been alive, and the Google says it is not able to process even a simple sentence like this, right? Similarly, I am asking for good budget restaurant. It is giving me some answers. Suggest restaurants which are not heavy on pocket. Then Google is not able to answer anything, and it is giving me vague answers. Right. So as far as these, as you have seen these current natural language processing systems, you can easily understand that there are still many challenges available in the natural language processing. First type of challenges is ambiguity. Ambiguity is that whenever some ambiguous words come into a sentence, the systems which we are able to make, that the scientists are able to make, they are still not able to correctly identify the correct meaning of the sentence. For example, there are many words in English language like bank, can, bat. They are polysemous words. They have more than one meanings. For example, bank, बैंक के कई सारे मीनिंग्स हैं. ठीक है, बैंक एक जो है रिवर बैंक भी होता है, नदी का किनारा, और बैंक जो है एक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन भी होता है जहां पर हम जाकर अपने पैसे डिपॉजिट करते हैं. We deposit our money, right? So similarly, can, bat, these are all polysemous words which have multiple meanings. ठीक है, so इस सेंटेंस में इस वर्ड का कौन सा मीनिंग आना चाहिए, that is called word sense disambiguation. उस वर्ड का एक्चुअल सेंस disambiguate करना in a particular sentence, right? So this is a common problem in natural language processing. Okay, me and my co-authors have done some of the work in the word sense disambiguation. So one of the work I have just quoted here, this is about part of the speech tagging. So in this we have developed the 10-gram based models, okay, for multi-category words. So I'm not going to discuss this work, okay, but I will discuss some of my other work which is for word sense disambiguation. Okay. I have given one example of word sense disambiguation for you to understand. For example, suppose there is a sentence, stolen rifle found by tree, right? This is one sentence, stolen rifle found by tree. And another sentence is stolen rifle found by Rahul, right? So this is a ambiguity at the word sentence level, okay? Because tree and Rahul both are nouns. So what you are doing, you are replacing one noun with another noun. But in the first sentence, suppose you say stolen rifle found by tree, that means the stolen rifle was found placed nearby the tree. And in the second sentence, it means that the rifle which was stolen, it was found by the person called Rahul. Okay, so in the second sentence, the meaning the meaning differentiates, right? Similarly, nowadays, very less work is available on identifying the idioms, metaphors, and collocations. Okay, so one of my students, she has just completed her research work from NSUT, Dwarka. He has done on metaphor or idioms identification. For example, suppose there is a sentence, my lawyer is a shark, right? Now, you cannot hire a shark as your lawyer. Now, the meaning which you want to convey here, that your lawyer is as wicked and as cruel as a shark. That means he is always ready for you to bite. Okay, right? So, unfortunately, we do not have good images of lawyers. Right? So, we believe that lawyers are always there to extract some money from us, or they are there to deceive us. So, this is used in a the word shark here is used in a idiom manner. Okay, right? It is a metaphor. So therefore, to identify whether this is actually a metaphor or not, so this work is there. Now the thing is, another thing is whenever we are talking about natural language processing, that the language keeps on evolving, and especially when we are using so blatantly the social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, etc. So day by day, new words are being framed, right? And especially now, the youngsters and even our people, we have started using the slang terms also. For example, instead of writing great, the people write GR and then they write 8, mathematics 8, GR 8, LOL. Okay, so these are some of the slang words which we are using in our conversation, which we do on the social networking sites, especially like Twitter, etc. Right? So identification of the slang word, that this word is a slang and this word is actually conveying some other meaning. It is also one of the common problems in natural language processing. So this is one work available for slang word identification. So I'm not also going to discuss this work, but I'm just telling you for your understanding that what are the different types of research dimensions which may be available for as far as natural language processing is concerned. Okay. So these are some of the related sciences for natural language processing, that linguistics is there, computer science is there, cognitive psychology is there. Now let's come to our problem, because otherwise I have long slides to discuss. So I will be discussing here 3 problems with you. Right. So first problem is word sense disambiguation. So this word sense disambiguation, as I have already discussed, is about identifying the correct sense of the word when it is occurring in a particular sentence. ठीक है. तो करेक्ट सेंस वर्ड का कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करना है, उसके लिए क्या कंसेप्ट हमें चाहिए, राइट. तो उसके बारे में हम फर्स्ट प्रॉब्लम में डिस्कस करेंगे. So this first problem is one of the research papers done by me and my co-authors, and it is published in ACM Transactions for Natural Language Information Processing, which is also known as TALEP. And this paper was published in volume 50. Right. So I will discuss about that how word sense disambiguation can be beautifully done by idea for the Hindi word. I'll discuss it detail. Then another problem which I will discuss is about error detection, and this problem is about Hindi, right? So so that is why it is also interesting to many of you. So this is first work of its type which is done in Hindi. Another problem which I have taken is also with respect to the Hindi language. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि आप इस प्रॉब्लम को क्योंकि हमने हिंदी में सॉल्व किए तो ये केवल हिंदी के लिए अप्लाई हो सकती है. We have provided the concept for generic concept and they can be applied for any language, right, with a minor tweaking. A second problem is about error detection and correction, which is an efficient spelling correction system, again for Hindi language. This is based on supervised learning, and it is again published in the same transactions, ASIM transactions on Asian language information processing. So I will discuss how we have prepared this efficient spelling Hindi correction system. Again, then I'll compare this system with the other available systems. There are hardly 1 or 2 systems available for Hindi. And then I will show you how the system proposed by us is better than the system. And third paper is about significance of the semantic relations which occur in natural language processing. Right. So this is how the semantic relations have different types of significance and what role do they play in natural language processing. This the third research problem is about that one. So I will discuss all these 3 problems one by one. So let's start with the first problem, that is ambiguity resolution for natural language processing. So as far as ambiguity in natural language processing is concerned, so ambiguity basically means unclarity or open meaning depending on the context of usage, right? एक वर्ड अगर एक सेंटेंस में आ रहा है तो उस सेंटेंस में उस वर्ड का मीनिंग क्या है. जैसे कि मान लीजिए एक सेंटेंस में वर्ड आ रहा है बैंक, तो अब उस बैंक का क्या मतलब है. आप किसी नदी के किनारे की बात कर रहे हैं या फिर आप किसी फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन की बात कर रहे हैं, बैंक जहां पर आप जाके पैसा रखते हैं अपना ना. ठीक है. तो आइडेंटिफाई करना कि उसका एग्जैक्ट मीनिंग क्या है, राइट. यूजुअली क्या होता है कि हम लोगों को पता होता है किसी पर्टिकुलर वर्ड के 2 या 3 मीनिंग है. जैसे मैंने बैंक कहा, तो बैंक के हमें पता है कि 2 या 3 मीनिंग हमें पता होंगे. लेकिन अगर आप लेक्सिकल रिसोर्स की बात करें, ठीक है, अगर हम लेक्सिकल रिसोर्स की बात करते हैं तो यू मे फाइंड के जो इस तरह के वर्ड्स हैं जो कि पॉलीसेमस होते हैं, कई बार उनके 30 to 40 मीनिंग्स भी हो सकते हैं, राइट. आई विल शो यू कि उनके कितने सारे मीनिंग्स हैं. तो अब किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कौन सा मीनिंग अप्रोप्रिएटली यूज हो रहा है वो हमें आइडेंटिफाई करना है. एंड दिस प्रॉब्लम इज कॉल्ड एम्बिगुइटी रेजोल्यूशन और वर्ड सेंस डिसएम्बिगुएशन. तो जैसे मैंने यहाँ पर पहले कुछ एग्जांपल्स दिए हैं टाइप्स ऑफ एम्बिगुइटी. तो जैसे कि बेसिकली 2 तरह की एम्बिगुइटीज हम मानते हैं. फर्स्ट इज लेक्सिकल एम्बिगुइटी एंड अनदर इज सिंटैक्टिक एम्बिगुइटी. तो मैंने यहाँ पर लेक्सिकल एम्बिगुइटी का एक एग्जांपल दिया है. ठीक है. जैसे कि हम एग्जांपल को देखते हैं, बाकी चीजें छोड़ देते हैं. गर्मियों में आम खाना एक आम बात है. ठीक है. अब जो फर्स्ट आम है यहाँ पर वो that arm तो ये जो फर्स्ट आर्म है वो बता रहा है फ्रूट के बारे में, जो फ्रूट आर्म होता है, एंड जो सेकंड आर्म इसमें आ रहा है वो बता रहा है कि इट इज अ कॉमन थिंग, कि गर्मियों में लोग आम खाते हैं, इट इज अ कॉमन थिंग दैट पीपल ईट मैंगोज इन द समर सीजन, राइट। सो जो फर्स्ट वर्ड है आम, जैसे कि आप यहाँ पर देखें ये जो वर्ड है आम, ठीक है, तो अगर हम लेक्सिकल रिसोर्स की बात करें हिंदी वर्ड नेट, तो आई थिंक सम ऑफ यू मस्ट बी नोइंग अबाउट दिस लेक्सिकल रिसोर्स। So this is a lexical resource which is known as Hindi WordNet. This was prepared by IIT Bombay researchers, especially headed by Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya, who was till few years back director of IIT Patna also. Now he has joined back in IIT Mumbai. Right. So he and his team has developed this Hindi WordNet. So अगर आप देखें यहाँ पर जैसे the word खाना, खाना has 9 senses as a noun and 13 senses as a verb. तो जो word खाना है इसके 9 senses हैं as a noun and 13 senses हैं as a verb. और जो वर्ड आम है उसके 5 सेंसेस हैं एज अ नाउन एंड 4 सेंसेस हैं एज अ वर्ड, ठीक है। तो अगर हम टोटली देखें तो जो टोटल नंबर ऑफ इंटरप्रिटेशन इस सेंटेंस की बन सकती हैं थ्योरेटिकली, दीज इंटरप्रिटेशंस आर 1782, यानी इतनी सारी इंटरप्रिटेशन इस सेंटेंस की बन सकती हैं। अब जो 1782 इंटरप्रिटेशंस हैं उसमें से करेक्ट इंटरप्रिटेशन कौन सी है वो आइडेंटिफाई करना जो है वर्ड सेंस डिसएम्बिगुएशन प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है। तो हमें बेसिकली क्या है कि एक ऐसा सिस्टम डेवलप करना है जो कि इसको आइडेंटिफाई कर पाए कि कौन सा करेक्ट इंटरप्रिटेशन इस सेंटेंस का सही बैठता है, राइट। ओके, सिमिलरली अनदर इज सिंटैक्टिक एम्बिगुइटी, ठीक है। तो सिंटैक्टिक एम्बिगुइटी बेसिकली तब जनरेट होती है कि जब आप सेंटेंस जो है ना वो उसका स्ट्रक्चर एम्बिगुअस होता है और उसके स्ट्रक्चर एम्बिगुअस होने के कारण आप उसको एक से ज्यादा इंटरप्रिटेशन में यूज कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पर जो है वर्ड एम्बिगुअस नहीं है लेकिन उसका स्ट्रक्चर फ्रेमिंग इस तरह से हो गया है कि आप उसको उसमें एम्बिगुइटी आ गई है, ठीक है। एम्बिगुइटी मींस अनक्लियर, क्लैरिटी नहीं है। जैसे कि यहाँ पर आप देखिए ये सेंटेंस है, जॉन सॉ द मैन ऑन द माउंटेन विद अ टेलीस्कोप। अब जिस तरह से इस सेंटेंस को कंस्ट्रक्ट किया गया है उससे ये नहीं पता चल रहा है कि जॉन ने क्या देखा। जॉन ने आदमी को खड़े हुए देखा माउंटेन पे जो कि एक टेलीस्कोप हाथ में पकड़े हुए था, या फिर जॉन ने जो है ना मैन को देखा ऑन द माउंटेन विद द टेलीस्कोप, यानी कि उसने टेलीस्कोप के थ्रू एक आदमी को माउंटेन पे खड़े हुए देखा, ठीक है। या फिर जॉन सॉ द मैन ऑन द माउंटेन विद द टेलीस्कोप, ठीक है, यानी कि एक माउंटेन थी जिसपे टेलीस्कोप पहले से ही फिक्स था, ठीक है। उस माउंटेन, ऐसी माउंटेन पे जिसपे टेलीस्कोप पहले से ही फिक्स था, उस माउंटेन पे जॉन ने मैन को खड़े हुए देखा, ठीक है। तो देयर मे बी मल्टीपल मीनिंग्स ऑफ दिस सेंटेंस, so therefore it is creating a syntactic ambiguity, ठीक है। तो आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू कि what type of problems are there in natural language processing as far as ambiguity is concerned। तो हम जब ambiguity की बात कर रहे हैं,
जो एक एक्सपर्ट लेक्चर कर रहा है,
I request the participants to please mute their mics if you do not have any problem. Yes, thank you. तो सिमिलरली अब जैसे वर्ड सेंस डिसएम्बिगुएशन है, तो वर्ड सेंस डिसएम्बिगुएशन में एक वर्ड के बहुत सारे मीनिंग्स होते हैं। तो बेसिकली हमें क्या करना है कि उन मीनिंग्स में से करेक्ट मीनिंग को आइडेंटिफाई करना है, ये वर्ड सेंस डिसएम्बिगुएशन है। दिस प्रॉब्लम इज नोन एज वर्ड सेंस डिसएम्बिगुएशन प्रॉब्लम। नाउ अगर हम इंफॉर्मेशन रिट्रीवल एंड क्वेरी एक्सपेंशन की बात करें, हालांकि यहाँ पर क्वेरी एक्सपेंशन की बात नहीं करेंगे। क्वेरी एक्सपेंशन बेसिकली क्या है कि जो क्वेरी को ऑटोमेटिकली एक्सपैंड कर देना वो क्वेरी एक्सपेंशन है। तो जब हम गूगल से फॉर एग्जांपल किसी सर्च इंजन से कोई क्वेरी लिखते हैं, कई बार आपने देखा होगा कि आपने क्वेरी इस तरह की फ्रेम की है कि आपका आंसर सही नहीं आ रहा है, ठीक है। तो आप उस क्वेरी को रीफ्रेम करते हैं या उसमें कुछ और एडिशनल वर्ड्स डालते हैं तो उसका आंसर सही आने लग जाता है जो आपको चाहिए होता है। तो दैट इज कॉल्ड क्वेरी एक्सपेंशन। एक्सपेंशन मतलब आपने उसमें कुछ एक्सपैंड कर दिया, उसमें कुछ नए वर्ड्स डाले जिससे कि आपकी क्वेरी आपको मिलने लगी, ठीक है। So in this work we have used the concept of fuzzy logic and fuzzy sets because what we have done, we have proposed a new lexical resource which is known as fuzzy Hindi WordNet। तो हमने एक fuzzy Hindi WordNet propose किया है। So I'll just tell you how mathematically we have done this, ठीक है। And then right, so basically इसमें हम लोगों ने क्या किया, फजी ग्राफ एंड फजी रिलेशन का कंसेप्ट यूज किया है। आई थिंक आप लोगों को फजी लॉजिक सबको पता ही होगा बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ यू आर एआई प्रैक्टिशनर्स, ठीक है। तो मैं फजी लॉजिक को नहीं डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पर ना। तो आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू अ ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन अबाउट फजी ग्राफ, राइट। तो फजी ग्राफ एज यू नो, जैसे कि हम सिंपल ग्राफ होते हैं, तो फजी ग्राफ में बस बेसिकली क्या है ना कि एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है कि जो एक नोड और दूसरा नोड एजेस से कनेक्टेड होता है, ठीक है। अब उसमें दो चीजें हो सकती हैं कि जो नोड है वो भी पार्शियली एग्जिस्ट कर सकता है, और दूसरी चीज ये है कि एक नोड और दूसरे नोड के बीच में जो एज है वो भी पार्शियली एग्जिस्ट कर सकती है। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर हम लोग क्या करते हैं, क्योंकि जो नोड्स होते हैं ना, उनको वर्ड्स जो होते हैं ना, उनको रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं नोड्स से। ठीक है, तो अब हम ये एज्यूम नहीं कर सकते कि जो वर्ड्स है ना वो पार्शियली एग्जिस्ट करते हैं। ठीक है ना, फॉर एग्जांपल आम है, आम, तो आम पार्शियली एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर सकता। तो व्हाट वी हैव डन इन दिस केस, हम लोगों ने इसको जैसे फजी ग्राफ है वैसे ही लिया है, लेकिन इसमें हमने कहा है कि जो नोड्स हैं वो फुली एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, और एक नोड और दूसरे नोड के बीच में जो एज है, जो एक नोड और दूसरे नोड को कनेक्ट करती है, नोड क्या है यहाँ पर, वर्ड है कि जो बहुत सारे वर्ड सेंटेंसेस में आते हैं, तो वो जो एज है वो पार्शियली एग्जिस्ट कर सकती है। ठीक है, तो उसकी एक मेंबरशिप वैल्यू हो सकती है, जैसा कि फजी सेट्स के केस में होता है, एंड दिस मेंबरशिप वैल्यू में लाई बिटवीन द क्लोज इंटरवल 0-1। तो ये क्लोज इंटरवल 0-1 के बीच में मेंबरशिप लाई करती है। दैट मींस एनी रियल नंबर बिटवीन द 0 and 1, 0 और 1 के बीच में रियल लाइन पे जो भी रियल नंबर्स आते हैं उनमें से कोई एक वैल्यू ये ले सकता है, एंड दैट शोज दैट हाउ वन नोड इज कनेक्टेड विद अनदर नोड। ठीक है, तो उसकी स्ट्रेंथ जो है, या स्ट्रेंथ बोल लीजिए, डिग्री बोल लीजिए, डिग्री ऑफ कनेक्टिविटी बोल लीजिए, कुछ भी बोल लीजिए। ठीक है, ओके। नाउ वर्डनेट, ठीक है, अब जैसे वर्डनेट के बारे में मैंने अभी आपको बताया, तो वर्डनेट जो है इनिशियली वर्डनेट वाज डेवलप्ड फॉर इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज। ठीक है, उसके बाद हम लोगों ने इंडिया में इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस के लिए भी वर्डनेट बनाया। ठीक है, जिसमें से सबसे पॉपुलर जो है वो हिंदी वर्डनेट ही है। बाकी जैसा आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं कि जो दूसरी नेटिव लैंग्वेजेस हैं, जैसे कन्नड़ा, आसामी, बंगाली, गुजराती, कोंकणी एंड मेनी अदर लैंग्वेजेस, तो उन सब के लिए भी वर्डनेट बनाए जा चुके हैं, बट दे आर नॉट वेरी मच पॉपुलर। ठीक है, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू डिस्कस वर्डनेट इन डिटेल बिकॉज वर्डनेट स्टिल हैव मेनी डिसएडवांटेजेस एंड needs many improvement also. ठीक है, especially for other native languages, and even Hindi WordNet has many shortcomings and it needs to be enhanced, right? So I think the team of IIT Mumbai must be working on this WordNet. So I'm just showing you an excerpt from the WordNet graph. So this is a WordNet graph which I have prepared for Hindi language. ठीक है, तो हिंदी लैंग्वेज के लिए जो वर्डनेट है वो बेसिकली एक ग्राफ है। ठीक है, तो वर्डनेट एक ग्राफ की तरह रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं। तो आप ये देखिए, जो हिंदी में वर्ड्स आते हैं तो उनको हमने ग्राफ में रिप्रेजेंट किया है। यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं, मान लीजिए एक वर्ड है फल, फल। ठीक है, तो फल वर्ड जो है ना उसके अलग अलग मीनिंग्स हैं। जैसे आप यहाँ देख रहे हैं कि सपोज देयर आर 9 मीनिंग्स ऑफ द वर्ड फल। ठीक है, हिंदी वर्डनेट के अकॉर्डिंगली जो फल वर्ड है उसके 9 मीनिंग्स आते हैं। तो जो 9 अलग अलग जो मीनिंग्स है वो कहाँ कहाँ प्लेस्ड है वो आप देख सकते हैं। जैसे कि आप यहाँ देखिए राइट हैंड साइड पे, ये जो फल है ये परीक्षा फल के बारे में बात कर रहा है। ठीक है, तो परीक्षा का फल आता है, जो परीक्षा का नतीजा आता है उसको भी हम फल बोलते हैं, परीक्षा फल। तो ये वाला फल इसके नजदीक है। ठीक है, इसी तरह से जो फल होता है, एक जो है ना जो तीर होता है, जो एरो होता है, उसकी नोक जो होता है उसको भी हम फल बोलते हैं। ठीक है, इसी तरह से जो है ना यहाँ पर आप ये देखें, फल एक संख्या भी होती है, जैसे उसका गुणनफल हम बोलते हैं हिंदी में ना, गुणा का आंसर गुणनफल। ठीक है, इसी तरह से खाने वाला फल। तो ये अलग अलग मीनिंग्स हैं इस वर्ड फल के। ठीक है, और आप यहाँ पर देखें कि इसमें हमने लिखा हुआ है फल 4n, दैट मीन्स 4n मीन्स दिस इज द फोर्थ मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड फल एंड इट इज नाउन। ठीक है, एज अ नाउन इट इज फोर्थ मीनिंग ऑफ दिस वर्ड फल। तो इस तरह से जो हिंदी के अलग अलग वर्ड्स हैं, अगर आप उनको ग्राफ के फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट करें, ठीक है, तो मैंने यहाँ पर केवल एक स्नैपशॉट लिया हुआ है, अदरवाइज यू कैन इमेजिन दैट दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी ह्यूज ग्राफ। ठीक है, क्योंकि सारे वर्ड जितने भी हैं उन सब में आपको इसकी पोजीशन देनी पड़ेगी कि कहाँ फल एग्जिस्ट करता है, तो उसको हम इस तरह से रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, तो हमने इसको हिंदी वर्डनेट को जो हिंदी वर्डनेट है उसको यहाँ पर इस तरह से रिप्रेजेंट करके आपको दिखाया। ठीक है, तो ये बेसिकली ग्राफ के फॉर्म में है। अब बेसिकली क्या है कि जब हम लोगों ने हिंदी वर्डनेट को स्टडी किया, राइट, तो हिंदी वर्डनेट को स्टडी करने के बाद हमने जो है ना उसकी लिमिटेशंस फाइंड आउट करें, राइट। तो ये चीजें मैं इसलिए डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ कि मैंने आपको पहले जो है ना बेसिक्स बताए, और उसके बाद मैं आपको ये भी बता रहा हूँ कि हमने प्रॉब्लम को कैसे। यस, मेरी वॉइस आ रही है? हेलो हेलो,
Yes, sir, you are audible.
मैं जो इस स्लाइड पे लिख रहा हूँ वो आपको दिख रहा है? मैंने रेड पेन से क्या लिखा है?
Yes, sir. Hello. Hello.
सॉरी,
It's hello.
हाँ हेलो, आपको विजिबल है ना?
Yes, sir. Visible.
ओके ओके ओके, देन गुड गुड, थैंक यू सो मच।
Sir, one request.
यस प्लीज, बताइए।
Some participants are requesting that please use English. They are not comfortable with Hindi.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Yes, yes.
But actually, some of the words, as you can say, I have done research on Hindi. So,
Definitely.
okay. No problem. No problem. Thank you. Thank you for informing me. Right. Now, if we see about limitation of Hindi WordNet, so we have realized that only classical relations are defined, right? All of us know what do we mean by relations. Okay, we have all studied the concept of relation in mathematics, discrete mathematics, and so on. So what was happening in Hindi WordNet, only classical relations were defined. So when there is a classical relation, that means either two concepts are fully related or they are not related at all, right? However, when we talk about the real world and especially about processing of the natural language text, and due to the inherent vagueness which appears in the human language, there you can have many words which are related in a partial manner. They are not fully related, but you can also say they are, but you cannot say they are unrelated. They are not fully related, but we cannot say that they are unrelated. For example, these are the two words. One word is Vidyalaya. Vidyalaya means institution. Another word is Sansthan. Sansthan means also an institution, right? So Vidyalaya and Sansthan, they are related with each other, but they are not exactly same, you can say. Similarly, Almari and Rack, right? These are two words, Almari and Rack. Almari and racks are almost similar type of things, physical structures for storing some material, but they are not exactly same. Rack is a different thing. Rack may be a book rack. Almari means almirah. Almirah for storing our wardrobes or whatever you call it. Okay. Similarly, ladki and aurat. So these type of concepts are partially connected or partially related. So what happened in Hindi WordNet? Hindi WordNet did not support these type of concepts. So it says that ladki is different and aurat is different. Right? Similarly, Vidyalaya is different and Sansthan is different. That is what it said. Right? So which is not actually there in the real world. In real world, we have some concepts which are partially related to each other. They are not fully related, but they are partially related. Right? This was first problem in classical WordNet. Second problem is that composition of similar and dissimilar relations was not defined in the WordNet. Okay, if you compose, see, composition of relations is a very important and very popular concept in relations when we talk about set theory and the relation theory in discrete mathematics, in mathematics. So composition of relation is always defined, right? So, but in Hindi WordNet, composition of similar and dissimilar relation was not defined, and due to which it was not possible to process one relation with respect to another relation, right? For example, you see this relation. Vahan means vehicle, car means car, we all know. Okay, this is Vahan and car. So these two share with hypernymy and hyponymy relation. I will tell you briefly in the forthcoming slide what do we mean by hypernymy, hyponymy. Okay, right? So Vahan and car. So that means car is a special type of Vahan. That means car is a special type of vehicle. Okay, and every car has a wheel, right? So car and pahiya. Pahiya means wheel. So every car has a pahiya. So that means every vehicle must have a pahiya because car is a special type of vehicle and every car has a pahiya, right? So you can say that every vehicle must have a pahiya. Okay? So this type of relation between vehicle, that means Vahan and pahiya, was not defined. This was not defined in Hindi WordNet. That is another problem. So these are two problems in Hindi WordNet. Okay, so therefore, to avoid these problems or to overcome these problems, what we did, we proposed the concept of fuzzy Hindi WordNet. Okay, so the fuzzy Hindi WordNet was designed to model and enable solutions to the real world problems which are too difficult to model mathematically. And our aim was to exploit the tolerance for imprecision and uncertainty and approximate reasoning, and especially the partial truthness which fuzzy logic is very much able to handle, right? To achieve the robust solution for natural language processing problem. Because when we talk about natural language is always uncertain, right? Natural language has so many ambiguities, right? So what we did fuzzification of the Hindi WordNet. Okay, so we proposed the concept for fuzzification of the Hindi WordNet, right? So as I already told you, the words were represented by the nodes, and the relation between the words were represented by the edges between one node and another node. So what is happening? This is one word. For example, this is one word. One word is a node. This is another word, word 2. And if one word and another word is connected, then there is an edge between word 1 and word 2. And because we are using fuzziness, so therefore we can say this is not fully connected. It is connected with a membership value, let's say 0.8. So they are partially connected. That is how we are able to exploit the concept of fuzzy logic in a better manner, right? So they are partially connected. So word 1 and word 2 are connected, but they are partially connected. Okay. This is some mathematics around this, so I'm not going to into the details. Otherwise, it will take a long time. Okay, you can go through it, and later on, if you have any doubts or any questions, you are most welcome. I'll be happy if you will send me some doubts. And right, so this is very simple. What we have done. So this is a membership value. You can see this. You can see this is what this is a sigma is representing the words, right? So this is nodes. Sigma is defined from W to 1. 1 means only one value. That means it is occurring fully because we have we have assumed that no word can exist partially. For example, there is a word called mango. Mango cannot exist partially. It will exist fully, right? But the connection between mango and some other word may, the connection may exist partially. So therefore, this mu is an edge. Okay, the edge. This is one word. This is another word, the W2, and the edge between this is mu. This may exist partially. This may have a value 0.8, something like that. Right. So basically, based on this concept, we defined 17 relations. We proposed 17 relations in Fuzzy Hindi WordNet. So for Fuzzy Hindi WordNet, we proposed these relations. So these relations were mathematically defined by us. Although they were in classical sense, they were already available. Most of them were already available in the WordNet. Right. So what we did, we extended them to in the fuzzy context to Fuzzy Hindi WordNet. So first is fuzzy association. Right. So this fuzzy association means one concept and another concept are fuzzily associated. They are associated each other. They are associated with each other, but in a fuzzy manner, right? They are not fully associated, right? So then we define this relation mathematically, fuzzy association. Okay, so this is word 1, word 2, and this is the membership value between word 1 and word 2. So that you can see this is defined from mu AS is defined from W cross W2, close interval 0, 1. Exactly the same way the fuzzy sets are being defined. Okay. Now, let me show you some examples. Okay. For example, suppose almari and rack, right? This is almira and rack. So now we can say almira and rack, they are fuzzily associated with the membership value 0.7. This was not possible in Hindi WordNet. So now in Fuzzy Hindi WordNet, we are able to relate them. So the relation has been established between almari and rack. Similarly, ladki and aurat, ladka and aadmi, and so on. Scooter and motorcycle are associated with each other. Definitely there are two-wheelers, there are same type of vehicles, although they have difference in engine and belt, etc. But still they are connected. We cannot say scooter and motorcycle are not connected at all. That is what the concept here which we have tried to bring in, right? So that means they are related in some manner. Okay. Similarly, we defined fuzzy hypernymy and hyponymy. Hypernymy and hyponymy are basically superclass subclass relationship. When we talk about classes and object-oriented theory, so everybody understands superclass subclass relationship. So again, we give a degree of fuzzy superclass subclass, right? For example, if you see this one, okay, I think there will be a problem for the people who do not understand Hindi. So there is a word called Durjan. Durjan means wicked, right? So now we can say Krur is a type of Durjan, Dusht is a type of Durjan, Beiman is a type of Durjan. Okay? Beiman means, let me write it in English also, this means dishonest. Okay? And this means wicked, let us say. So dishonesty is also a type of wickedness. Okay? And then Dusht means, suppose, I do not know the exact meaning, but cruel. Cruelty is also a type of wickedness. Similarly, Krur, this is also shrewdness or whatever you can say. This is also a type of wickedness. So we can say these are the type of wickedness. So they are type of with these membership value. Okay. Dishonesty is a type of wickedness with a membership value 0.5. So this is how we define this concept of fuzzy hypernymy and fuzzy hyponymy. So all these concepts were defined by us. Right? They were not available previously, and we have given the mathematical definition also. Right? Like you see, this is full and paired. Now see the beauty, full and paired. Full and paired means full means tree. Let me write it, tree, and sorry, full means fruit. Let me write here, fruit and tree. Right? Now actually what happens in real world, although we get fruit from the tree, but there are many trees who do not have fruits. Right? This is what happens in real world. You cannot say that every tree has a fruit. That is the biggest problem. Yeah. Right? So fruit is a part of tree. So what we can say, in most of the cases, the tree has a fruit. Okay. So this we have given by membership value, and we have appended a membership value 0.7. That means roughly you can say that in 70% of the cases, trees have fruits. The fruit is a part of tree. Similarly, you can say Chhatravas and Sansthan. Chhatravas means hostel and Sansthan means institution. So every college or every institution does not have a hostel. This is a fact. But whenever you have a hostel, it is a part of some institution. It is attached to some institution. So therefore, hostel is a part of institution with a membership degree 0.8. Now, because we have taken them to the fuzzy domain, so therefore, we are now able to give good relations between one word and another word. Okay? what is happening before that? That either they were saying they are totally related or they are not related at all. But what actually happens in many of the institutions, we have hostels, but we cannot say that all institutions have the hostel. Right? This is there. Now, similarly, we have fuzzy autonomy. Autonomy, as you know, they are the reverse of each other. Okay. For example, now you can see this one, Beiman and Sajjan. Okay. If we talk in Hindi, dishonesty, Beiman means dishonest, right? The reverse of it is honest. Okay. So what will happen when we talk about antonymy? So Sajjan is also an antonym of Beiman, right? Because Beiman is a type of dishonesty. This Beiman is dishonesty. ठीक है? Dishonesty is a type of, and दुर्जनता का opposite सज्जनता है. तो इसलिए बेईमान और सज्जनता भी आपस में antonym है, but with a membership degree 0.7. Okay. So similarly, what we are able to do here beautifully, that we are able to relate now more words, and when we are able to relate words, therefore we are able to process them. We are able to find out the correct meaning of this word in the sentence, the way it is appearing. And therefore, we are able to solve the word sense disambiguation problem in a better manner, right? I'll give you some more examples. Similarly, for the entailment, I'll not go into the details of all 17 relations, but you can simply go to that paper, you will find all that. Okay, some of the important one I'll show you if there. These are the inferences which hold on on the relations. This we have identified, and these are all the relations. I'm just going through it. Yeah, see this one. This might be interesting for you. Okay, for the people who do not understand Hindi, I'll write this. This is vice chancellor. This is professor. This is associate professor, and this is assistant professor. Assistant professor, right? This is teaching. This is research, and this is administration. Now, see what happens in our country. Vice chancellors are professors, right? Nobody can become a vice chancellor unless he or she is a professor, right? So, but what happens whenever a professor escalates to the position of vice chancellor, the vice chancellor is more involved into administration. Vice chancellor is less involved into research because he or she may not be able to find time for the research, but you know, vice chancellors are usually good researchers. So you can say they are balancing between research and administration, but very rarely you will find any vice chancellor who is teaching, right? They do not take the classes, or I know some vice chancellors who take classes, but they take very less classes, maybe one class or two classes in a week, 1 hour or 2 hours. So this is the function of one node with the another node, vice chancellor. Similarly, if you talk about professor, what happens with the professor, right? Professor is involved more into research, and he is also involved into research, the administration, and he is given a less teaching load. So you can see the membership values of professors. 0.9 for research, 0.9 for administration, and only 0.7 for teaching. Similarly, if you check for assistant professor is fully dedicated to teaching. So therefore, this membership value is 1. And assistant professor is also expected to do some research. So therefore, it is 0.7. And assistant professors are rarely put into administration. I should not use the word rarely, but they are lesser put into administration. So therefore, this membership value is 0.6. So in this way, we can define the fuzzy functional link, right? This is also a type of relation. So in this way, we had defined 17 relations, and depending on the context, all these relations are defined. And then, as I told you, we defined the composition of these relations in the fuzzy Hindi word, how they can be composed. Okay, for example, you can see if fuzzy association and fuzzy association are composed, the resultant will be fuzzy association, FAS. Similarly, if fuzzy association and fuzzy hypernymy is composed, you will get fuzzy hypernymy, right? So there is no association possible, composition possible with FHO with FAN. Okay. So this way we have defined the compositions of all these relations. This composition was not possible in Hindi WordNet. It was not possible in Hindi WordNet. Let me say WordNet. In WordNet, it was not possible. Now, because the way we have defined these relations mathematically, now it is possible. Okay. So these are some of the another formulas for relations. Now, what we did after that, after proposing the fuzzy Hindi WordNet, then we proposed the fuzzy graph connectivity measures. Okay, so fuzzy graph connectivity measures are basically used to identify that out of the number of nodes, which node is more prominent, right? What does it mean? Let me talk about in a simple language. In simple language, it means that suppose you know a person who is a
Yes, sir. You
hello.
audible, sir? Audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I am so sorry. I got a call from my university. So, जी, yeah. So हम फजी ग्राफ कनेक्टिविटी मेजर्स की बात कर रहे थे तो आई वाज डिस्कसिंग कि ग्राफ में जो नोड जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट नोड से कनेक्टेड होता है, चाहे वो नोड इतना ज्यादा हैवी ना हो, राइट, लेकिन जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट नोड से कनेक्टेड होता है तो उसकी भी जो है ना स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ जाती है. जैसे मैंने आपको एक एग्जांपल दिया. आई जस्ट गिव यू वन एग्जांपल that suppose there is a node who is a driver of prime minister, let's say Narendra Modi sahab, or the driver of chief minister, so he will be more powerful than any other senior what we can say bureaucrat or whatever, because he has all information and access to the prime minister directly, right? So even if that node himself is not very much important, but he is connected to a very important node, his proximity with is with the very important node, so that node itself becomes more important. Right, so these type of connectivity measures are available in the social networking theory, right? So we have taken some measures from there and we extended these measures to fuzzy graph connectivity measures to find out the importance of this, to disambiguate the meaning of that word. So we defined some measures. These were the local measures. We defined fuzzy degree centrality, then fuzzy eigenvalue centrality. So I cannot discuss these mathematics behind this because of short of time. Okay, so fuzzy closeness centrality, betweenness centrality, and these are some of the global measures for the fuzzy graph connectivity, right? So what we did now, on the basis of these graph connectivity measures defined by us and the other measures, we proposed the Hindi word sense disambiguation using the fuzzy Hindi wordnet. So this was an algorithm for word sense disambiguation using fuzzy Hindi wordnet, right? So I'm just showing you, but I'm just demonstrating it with the help of an example. For example, suppose we have a sentence, कष्ट झेलकर ही चमकते हैं, right? So this sentence has many words like kast, right? Kast is there, jhelkar is there, and chamakna is there, right? So we have multiple meanings of these words. So kast is there, and jhelkar is there, chamakta is there. So right, kast and jhelkar is, they may be fine, but most importantly, we have to disambiguate what is the meaning of chamak. Okay, chamak is Hindi. You can most prominently understand it like shining, right? So that is what chamak. But the word shining here is used in a different sense. That when you are going through the struggles, then you shine like this, right? So what we do, we identify that where these words are placed in the wordnet. Okay, right? That we do. So this is a snapshot from the Hindi wordnet which I have given for you. For example, if you see the word kast, if you will type the word kast here, so you will say that kast is having so many meanings, right? And if kast is taken as a noun, then yantrana, yatana, dukh, mashakkat, amiva, ashav, and so on, right? So this is there for the kast. And similarly for chamak, we have so many meanings. Chamak 1, chamak 2, chamak 3, and chamak 4. So there are 4 meanings of chamak as a noun that you can easily see. So for 4 meaning of chamak, so this I am represented like this. I am representing like this, chamak 1 noun. Okay, so this is first meaning of chamak as a noun, second meaning of chamak as a noun, third meaning of chamak as a noun, fourth meaning of chamak as a noun. This we are showing, right? And this is the fuzzy graph I am showing. Now, what we did, then we calculated the centrality measures for these words, kast, chamak, and jhelna. So this is degree centrality, page rank centrality, hits, closeness, betweenness centrality, right? And then whatever the measures which we are getting the values, on the basis of this we are able to find what is the highest value. We are saying that the third meaning of chamak and the first meaning of kast as a noun is having the highest value. So therefore we can identify that these are the most appropriate meaning of these words in this particular sentence. That is how we are disambiguating that the third meaning of chamak as a noun and first meaning of kast as a noun is having the higher values for these centrality measures. So therefore, these are most probably the correct meaning of these words in this sentence. Right. So in this way, we are trying to disambiguate, or we can say we are trying to find out the best meaning of this word in this sentence. right? And then we found out the F1 measure also, and so this is how it shows that we have done. Now, because time is going forward, let me quickly go through my second problem, where this is an efficient spelling correction system for Hindi language based on supervised learning, right? So this is the second problem which we are discussing. So this is a spelling correction system for Hindi language. So I am just skipping this quickly so as to make you understand how we have done it. So Hindi, this is description about the Hindi language, that it has been ranked fourth in the world with 260 million speakers just after English, right? And these are some of the, this slide is showing some of the complexity of the English language, that it has a very large character set. It has 36 vyanjans and 11 swars, 9 matras, half consonants, special characters like halans, anuswar, and anusika, and so on. This is the snapshot of the character set for the Hindi language, right? And then this slide shows that what is the major source of spelling in the Hindi language, right? So the major source of spelling errors in the Hindi language is basically, you can see the influence of the regional language which the people speak. Like Hindi script, that is the Devanagari script, is used in many languages like Sanskrit, Bhojpuri, Chhattisgarhi, Haryanvi, Marathi, Maithili, Kashmiri, and so on, as you can see, right? And we have seen that there is a very high influence of the regional language on the Hindi. For example, the the people in Eastern India, they usually orate the word ba instead of wa, right? So instead of saying vahan, they will usually orate bahan, right? Similarly for akash, they will say akas, right? So this is they usually do. Like similarly, the people hailing from Bengal, they are also pronouncing the same word in a different manner. For example, there is a person called Vijay. Okay, so they will not say Vijay, they will say Bijoy, right? Similarly, for Kajal, they will say Kajol, right? That you know. So there is an influence of the regional language on the words which they are coming. But actually, this word, for example, although it may be regionally correct, but grammatically this word is incorrect. It is not Bahan, it is Vahan, right? It is not Akash, it is Akash, right? This is there. So in this way, we go ahead. Okay. Now, it has been documented that around 80% of the spelling errors deviate from the correct spellings by at most one deletion. Like, for example, suppose the word was Sajjan and accidentally this word half j is deleted. So this is one deletion. One substitution, instead of badi ki matra, they have substituted with choti matra. One transposition, okay, instead of mother, it is damad. Okay, it has been written as damad. So these are the major sources. So 80% of the spelling errors come from these type of reasons. Okay, and then there are some out of vocabulary words also, right? So out of vocabulary words, for example, there is a, instead of vyayam, the person has written it as vyayam. Okay, so vyayam is an out of vocabulary word. This word is not available in the vocabulary, right? But there are some words which are erroneous. Erroneous means they are erroneously placed as a spelling error in the sentence, but they are not out of the grammar words, out of vocabulary words. They are available in the vocabulary. For example, you will see this sentence, Chandrama ka aakar bol hai. See this word aakar. Aakar is also a word in Hindi dictionary, but actually this word should be aakar. Chandrama ka aakar bol hai. Aakar, like this. Instead of aakar, the user has written aakar, right? So this is not there. This is not correct. Okay. Fine. So this talks about the word formation rule. So I'll skip about this because it will take a lot of time. So basically in the proposed method, what we did, we have three main steps, which is collection of data in the confusion matrix and generation of candidate list, and then correction methodology was adopted using the Viterbi algorithm. Right. So these are the many regions which we have covered around India, and you can see these were the participants' description which we have taken for our study. So participants were selected to incorporate heterogeneity as well as homogeneity of data, right? So you can see we have taken 90 participants from the students category, and office staff again 270 people, and business category again 270 people, and we asked them to write some sentences, and then we observed that what type of spelling mistakes they are doing. So because actually the problem in Hindi language is you do not have a data set also. So in this case, we had to we have to design our own data set also. So for making the data set, we take help of these people. We took help of these people, and then the participants they entered 30 sentences each, So there were around 810 participants, and they entered 30 sentences. So we had these many sentences, 24,300 sentences, which we have taken. Okay, and then after from this we have created the confusion matrix. So this is just a snapshot of transpositions, and then this is characteristics, and then we generated the candidate list. This is an algorithm, little bit complex one, so I'm not going to discuss this. And then we applied the Viterbi algorithm. Viterbi algorithm, I think most of you must be knowing, this is based on the MLE, that is maximum likelihood estimator. We calculate the maximum likelihood estimator. So on the basis of this, we calculated the maximum probability, right? So for example, if you see this sentence, Mangal grah par जीवन hai. Now in this sentence, this grah is misplaced, misspelled. Sorry, I'm sorry, misspelled. इसकी spelling गलत है, ठीक है? या जीवन इसकी स्पेलिंग गलत है, तो ये हमें आइडेंटिफाई करना है, राइट? ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू सी कि जब हमने अल्गोरिथम अप्लाई किया तो इसमें आप ये देख सकते हैं सिमिलरली कि जैसे ग्रह है तो दिस ग्रह इज देयर, दिस ग्रह इज देयर, ग्रह, ग्रही, एंड देन दीज आर द वर्ड्स व्हिच आर कमिंग, दे मे बी द करेक्ट वंस. Yeah, and then we identified the probability of each of these, and then finally identified that which word is fitting best. So right, you can see this is Mangal, then this word Graha, Per, and this Jeevan hai. So these are the correct words. So this was spelling mistake, and similarly other word Jeevan was also spelling mistakes. So this gives you the correct spelling for this sentence. So this is basically a demo software which we have prepared. So this we have prepared using Python, right? So this is available also on the YouTube, right? So I would like to show this software to you. I like to run this software. You do please tell me whether the voice is clear or not. If the voice is not clear, then I'll skip this software. Is the voice clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Your voice is not coming.
अच्छा वीडियो में आवाज अच्छा ठीक है मैं मैंने सुन तो मेरे की आवाज आ रही है एनीवे okay so I think some people are facing problem in the sound of the video, so I am just closing it. So this video, this is also available otherwise on the YouTube. This was just demonstrating about the software, that how it is working and how it is automatically correcting the spelling error which is occurring in the Hindi sentence, right? So this was about that. So then we calculate the recall precision in the F value, F1 measure. Okay, so for this different levels, and then we have compared this approach with the our approach is known as Uttam approach, which is for candidate list generation. We compared it with the other softwares like Spell Guru and Saksham, which is available already, and we find that how our system is performing with respect to these systems, right? Okay, so this you can see the recall precision and F measure of Uttam with respect to the other two systems, Spellguru and Saksham, which are already available for the Hindi language. So as I already told you, for Hindi language, not much systems are available. So whatever systems were available, we compared our work, right? And then we sent it for publication. Right. So this was the second problem which I just wanted to discuss, and third problem, which is the last research problem, which I just wanted to discuss briefly, is this is word sense disambiguation using semantic significance of relations in the word net. Right. So this problem is related to the English word sense disambiguation, not with respect to the Hindi word sense disambiguation. If you might be remembering, when we were discussing the word net for the Hindi word net, we had discussed about many relations like hypernymy, hyponymy, and meronymy, holonymy, right? And these type of relations we have discussed, and I just told you that we had proposed 17 relations in this for the Hindi word net. Now this research work talks about the semantic significance of the relations. Now when we have these 17 relations, now what is the semantic significance of one relation with respect to the other relation? That is what it deals with. Right? As you can understand that all these 17 relations cannot be equally useful. They cannot be equally useful, right? That you can understand. So whether one relation is useful with respect to other relation, like you can say hypernymy, meronymy, holonymy are there, right? So the significance of various semantic relations were not considered prior to this work, and we try to consider the significance of various semantic relations, whether one relation is significant over other relation or and so on. And then we propose an algorithm to find that how the semantic relations, the role of semantic relations work in finding the disambiguating the word sense. And then we also use the simulated annealing algorithm here for weight assignment, right? And these slides are simply shows the basically this, like you can see, there is a sample text saying she drinks some milk. So she is a proposition here, drinks is verb, some is determiner, milk is noun, right? And then we try to find out basically the different types of fuzzy local measures of graph connectivity for this type of stuff. And this is just a snapshot of the simulated WordNet graph, although I can understand this may not be very much understandable for you. So, and then this slide describes about the data set which we have taken. We have taken the SEMCOR data set, because for English, fortunately, the data set is available, right? For Hindi and the native languages of India, the data set is not available. And this slide shows the results which we have obtained. So basically, we have compared it with two other approaches. One is Navigili's approach and the Jan's approach, and finally the proposed approach. And you can see in the last slide, last column, sorry, the values of the degree centrality, page rank, closeness, betweenness, and other values which we are doing, right? And then in the result, you can understand that semantically related work are now appearing closer to each other in the WordNet graph because of this. Right now, this was the third problem, and now the important part which I just wanted to discuss with you is the future work, right? So now we are coming about the future work for this natural language processing research application. So first future work is that fuzzy WordNet may be developed for other languages used worldwide, right? So fuzzy WordNet may be used for other languages. It is not developed for other languages. It is available for Hindi, and it is available for English also, but for other languages like Mathili, Marathi, and other languages, whatever your native language, you may try to do an attempt for extending this work for your language. And this may be a full PhD for itself, right? If you try to propose the concept with respect to your language, because I'm not aware about the other regional languages. Similarly, fuzzy wordnet creation is also an intensive manpower task, so that fuzzy work can be done in direction of automatic creation of fuzzy wordnet, because it is an intense manpower task, because you have to identify all the words and their relationship with each other and so on. So so research can also be done for fuzzy wordnet creation. Similarly, fuzzy graph algorithms may be applied for other NLP applications, including automatic question answering system, text summarization. My team is also presently working a good work on answer sheet evaluation, right? So we have already done for objective type of answer sheet evaluation, and now we are doing for subjective answer sheet evaluation. So there we are developing and using some fuzzy graph algorithms, and we are developing the natural language processing systems where the answer given by the candidate is automatically evaluated. So there is no need for teacher to evaluate the answer based on some parameters. So because the answer written by the student is in natural language, so understanding that what the student has written and automatically giving the marks to that answer. Then the proposed concept of the centrality measures can also be applied in sentiment lexicon for optimized sentiment analysis. Right, so we had already briefly discussed about sentiment analysis and on opinion mining in the starting. So the concept of centrality measures which have been proposed can also be applied in sentiment lexicons. Right, for example, the famous sentiment lexicon is SentiWordNet, which was proposed by Isuli in 2007, and then we have also proposed a sentiment lexicon for English language, and many other sentiment lexicons are also available. And then as a researcher, we may explore the concept of centrality measures for the sentiment lexicon. Then fuzzification of these sentiment lexicons can also be done. Like I talked about SentiWordNet, SentiNet, SentiStrength. There is another called SentiFull. We have developed one called Centimeter. So you can also, as we have done the fuzzification of WordNet, especially Hindi WordNet, you can also think or as a research direction, fuzzification of the sentiment lexicons, right? Now, fuzzy Hindi WordNet can also be used for identifying the context in conversation, including email communication or any social media chat, maybe WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, etc., which may further identify helpful in identification of the criminals. I just discussed about criminals. Otherwise, any social network you can target, right? This is a network of criminals. Then the semantic identification concept, which we have discussed as our third problem, may be applied for analysis of news channel and newspaper, right? Likewise, like presently, you must have noticed that there is a very great amount of hype over the fake news, right? Fake news identification, like this Twitter has been penalized by Indian government that you will not be able to allow to run in India because you have not made some intermediaries for that, and if there is any few fake news which is propagated through Twitter, then you may be penalized, you may be issued a criminal warrant. So nowadays government is facing this as a major area that fake news are being propagated. So government is interested in identifying that who is the originator of that fake news. First of all, we have to identify whether it is a fake news. That itself is a big task. Then the originator of that fake news, and then the channel, like the social media apps like Twitter or Facebook through which it has been propagated. Okay, so it may be also be used to rank the news channels or newspapers on the basis of the relevance of the material displayed. So these are some of the open problems which are available, and then the proposed concept may also be used to find a suitable journal for submission of a research paper. Yes, it can be done, right? And also to find the relevant reviewer for the research paper submitted. These are all based on the natural language processing terms. Right. In one of my research work, we have also solved a problem called reviewer assignment problem, in which we have proposed a mathematical model to identify the correct reviewer for a research paper submitted. Or whenever we usually see that a large amount of research works is being submitted whenever a conference is organized. For example, suppose Bikaner College is organizing a conference and you get 1200 research papers. Now you cannot publish 1200 research papers into your conference. You will be publishing only 50, 60 research papers. But every paper has to be reviewed and then it has to be rejected if you are not publishing. So for 1200 papers, and if you are taking 2 reviews for every paper, that means you need 2400 reviewers, right? So assigning this work to automatically to 2400 reviewers, and then on the basis of identifying the good reviewer for a particular paper itself is a marathon task. then proposed concept may also be applied to enhance the spelling error detection and correction by establishing the semantics. And this the concept of establishing semantics may be also be applied for optical and handwritten character recognition. I have also talked about automatic answer sheet evaluation. One of my team collaborators are working on automatic answer sheet evaluation, and we have got good results. We have already done it for multiple choice questions. Now we are focusing on subjective questions also, right? So these are some of the references which are there, which I have used for preparing my slides for discussion for today. So I think you can go through these. There are quite a number of research work which is there. And finally, I would like to conclude because I think we are over with the time also, and it is around the lunch time. Many of you will be hungry also. So I will close here. So if you have any suggestions or if you have any doubts, you are most welcome. So open to you, sir. God, sir. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Sir, my question is that whether these fuzzy graph algorithms can be used for the disambiguate the words having the multiple meanings.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, definitely it can be done. That we have done it for that. Huh? Because disambiguation is required only for the words which are having multiple meanings. If you are having a word with only one meaning, then disambiguation is not required. Okay, disambiguation is required only if you have a word with multiple meanings.
Yes, yes.
And we have used this fuzzy Hindi wordnet for that. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other participants, please? If any other participants?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am.
Sir, you were talking about some journals where we can publish our papers related to natural language processing. So can you please tell us certain journals which are like Web of Science or Scopus kind of journals?
Yeah, ma'am, I have shown you a list of my references which is appended here in the last slide. Na? So all of these slides are containing the name of the journals which are there in the natural language processing. So there are many journals. 2-3 journals I have already told you in which I have published my work. Otherwise, the list of the journals you can find in the references. The references here which I have put, that is why I have put these references. These are all natural language processing journals, right?
Okay. Yeah.
For
Thank
example,
you, sir.
if you see this paper, ACM transaction on Asian and low resource language information processing, this is a journal, right? Some of these papers are also available in the related journals. Like you can see, this is a journal of pattern recognition. One paper has been published here. This is on Arabic OCR. So you will find a list of the journals here. And one more thing I would like to mention that you will not find, madam, any good journal which is published, which is dedicated to Indian languages. Right, so that is a drawback which we are facing in this field, right? So we do not have any journal which is focusing on Indian languages explicitly. Yes, we have a journal for Asian languages, like you can see this journal. This is Asian transaction on Asian languages, but not on Indian languages especially. So I discussed this matter with Professor Dr. Bhattacharya also, that we should open a journal which is dedicated to Indian languages, but still I think we are not able to do it right now. Thank you, madam. I think I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, kindly go to the references first slide so we can take the screenshot of that references.
Okay, ma'am. I will have what I'll do, madam. What I will do, I will type this list, copy this list in one file, and I'll send it to Professor God, and I'll request Professor God to forward it to the participants if they need it.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
It's fine.
it will be a great help that if you share your slides with us, with our participants. It's my request.
Madam, what I will do, I will share all 3 research papers with you. I think that will be more beneficial because the slides
Okay,
have
sir,
been
okay.
prepared mostly from the research papers. So I will send you, because they are not free of cost. They are ACM transaction paper. So I will send
Right,
all these research papers and the list of the references. So I think that will be more beneficial for you because slides I keep on changing every day. I keep on
Okay,
adding my
okay.
new things.
Thank you,
So
thank
slide
you.
won't be as much useful. Okay.
Thank you,
Any
sir.
other suggestion? Otherwise, I have given my email ID here. If anybody of you would like to give me some suggestions, or if you have any problem in mind or if you want to collaborate with me, you are most welcome. I will be happy. This is my email ID. This is DEV underscore. This is underscore, not dash. Underscore TAYAL 2001@yahoo.com. You can send me a mail anytime if you need any help regarding this or if you have any suggestions for my improvement. I will be very much happy. Thank you so much. So I think any other participants do not have any doubts. So I think we can close this session, Doctor. So thank you so much for providing me this opportunity for sharing my ideas with you.
Yeah,
Dr. Gaur?
thank you very much, sir. Here is Dr. Jitendra Jain from the organizing committee. So thank you very much, sir, for this very informative session on NLP and its research application.
Thank you, Professor Jain. Thank you so much.
So, sir, we are very thankful to Professor Devendra Kumar Payal, sir, who gave us time for this wonderful session. On behalf of all the participants, Engineering College Bikaner, Atal AICT team, it's my privilege to extend vote of thanks to Professor Devendra Kumar Payal, sir, for this generous and elaborative presentation. Let's now close the session. We will reassemble at 3 p.m. for the next session. And at that time, we will be having with us Dr. Dushyant Singh from MNNIT Allahabad, who will deliver a talk on practical approach to ANN and deep networks. Now I again request all the participants to be present at 3 p.m. for the next session. Thank you once again, Professor Devendra sir, and all the participants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Sir, is there any feedback?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, attendance link.
All participant attendance has been taken through the software.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Now you can leave the
Thank you,
session. Next session will be start at 3 p.m. and by the new. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Message